You are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'.
Listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. Welcome to the show, guys. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to the show. If you're into anime, nerd culture, and most importantly, video games, then you come to the right place because we talk about all of that shit here. Today, this is episode 328. It's kind of dark in here. I'm actually in the living room tonight. Everybody, I think, is asleep for the most part. So, yeah, going to try this out tonight. But anyway, got a few things I want to discuss with you guys, okay? A lot of things went down this past week, and I want to get into some of it, okay? I talked about some of it last week, and I'm talking about the Red Dead Redemption stuff, but I'm going to talk about what I've been playing. I'm also going to talk a little bit about my anime watch list, which has been short but sweet so far. Also, want to talk about the Red Dead stuff. I mentioned that a little bit last week. Also, I want to talk about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot DLC 5, and I cannot wait to get into that with you guys. Yeah, I have a lot to say about that one, so get ready for that. Also, some Armored Core information. They had a nice little 2-hour event. Want to talk a little bit about that. And a game that maybe I think a lot of you guys have seen. It's been a while. And it looks really awesome. I remember when it first came out, when we got trailers and gameplay, it looks awesome. And this game goes by the name of, let me make sure I got it right, Black Myth Wukong. All right. It takes place in, I guess, ancient China. It's dealing with Chinese folklore and all of that. It just looks dope. You play this Monkey King character, and he looks awesome. You've got this long pole, and you can do all kinds of things with it. And you fight all these crazy monsters. It's a Souls-like. It definitely reminds me of that. And it has a lot, I think, to bring to the table. This is a really, really anticipated game. Like, a lot of people are really looking forward to playing this, including myself. And I got a little bit of news, and I'll go ahead and share that with you now since I'm talking about it. I think IGN was the one that I saw, the video I saw, and not just them, but some other people, outlets got a hold of the game and got a chance to play a little bit and got a chance to fight. I want to say a few bosses, maybe like 2 or 3 bosses. There's also a hidden boss somewhere around who's really hard, who looks like kind of like a scorpion character, and he can poison you and all this shit is crazy. But I love, when they do that stuff, when they put hidden bosses in games and you can stumble upon those, even when you're not really supposed to. I think that's fucking dope. But anyway, yeah, they played it and they were breaking down some of the things about the game. And one of the things they mentioned was that it's a semi-open world game. So it's not your typical like open world game, like say like Red Dead Redemption or something like that. Or you know what I'm saying? Like completely open world. Now you have those games which are kind of semi-open world where they have huge areas and you can kind of move around in that sandbox, and then when you get to a certain area or period in the game, then it transitions to another area and so on and so forth. So that's the kind of game that this is, and that's cool. I'm totally okay with that. They also wanted to mention that there is a slated release date. Okay, they want to release this. They have a window in mind, and it's going to be next summer, 2024. So be looking out for that around that time. I'm sure if the game is going to get released in that time frame, we will definitely get more gameplay. We will definitely get more press and everything else surrounding this game. That's what typically happens when you follow games and it gets close to that release date. So that's awesome. I cannot wait to play this game. Maybe we get a demo. Fingers crossed on that. Sometimes I just really wish I was some of these writers and had some of these badges so that I could get access to some of these games. But in a sense, it's kind of cool as well because I would like to play the finished product anyway. You know what I'm saying? So what they played will probably end up being a lot different, at least a little bit, when they get their hands on the actual release of that title. So that's what that is. And I wanted to just give you that information. But anyway, let's go back to the top and let's talk a little bit about what I'm personally playing. After Remnant 2, which I put in like 150 hours, 140 hours, something crazy like that in there, I'm kind of now winging myself off of it, and I'm giving myself a break because I have so much stuff I got to catch up on as far as content and things like that are concerned, guys. That's stuff that I'm supposed to be working on. And so working on all that stuff. What I'm playing now is kind of crazy, but I am playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. All right. I had some friends I ran into the other day, and online, of course, I saw them playing that game. And I said, oh, okay. And I got into the party, we got into a chat, and we started talking about, why they were still playing it. And they were saying that some new DLC came out. And I'm surprised that this game is just going like it's going. I mean, that's a good thing. As a Dragon Ball fan, hey, please keep this game going for as long as you can. But a lot of people would argue that, where is our Xenoverse 3 at? You know what I mean? But they're like, fuck it. We're just going to keep giving you content here, and we don't have to do all that. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of cool. And I've learned something new about Xenoverse 2 that I had no idea about this last time I started playing. And it has to do with something that goes by custom keys. Now, apparently, there's about 20 of these that exist for 20 different characters, right? And once you acquire that custom key for that said character, you can take that character and you can kit them out. So you can give them any moves you pretty much want to give them, okay, with that custom key. And like I said, it's only 20 characters, so everybody's not going to be privy to that, which I think is kind of a bummer. But maybe they're working on something down the line where you can actually kind of do that. You can also change the colors of their gear and things of that nature too. So, and also I will add this too. Not every character is created equal, because I think I did this for Tien, or not. I didn't have the key, but I did something similar where I have him as my mentor, and I made him my partner, and then they allowed me to basically change his colors on his outfit and change up a couple moves, but only within his category, if that makes sense. I can't give him Kaioken or anything like that, which I think is kind of dumb. And maybe they change that in the future, maybe not. I don't know, but I think they should elaborate on that. But anyway, yeah. Now they have raids in this thing now. There's all kinds of raids, and that's how you get the items. And they've done a lot with the game. They've done a lot. They've added some pretty dope improvements with your characters. Used to have to be able to exit out of the game if you had multiple characters created to use that said character. So now you can actually play as any character you want that you created in one game, and you can even play with them select them as teammates when you go on your parallel quests and stuff. So I think that's pretty dope. And if you don't know about Xenoverse, this may sound all crazy, but most of us who are Dragon Ball fans know about Xenoverse and have played Xenoverse. And it's basically a Dragon Ball MMO in a sense, where you create your own character. You can pick different races. You can be a Frieza race. You can be Namek, and so on and so forth. And then you can, give them certain abilities and custom make them to your liking. Okay, color, the gear that they wear, all these things. And that's the cool thing about it. So I've never deleted it off of my PlayStation. I always had it there because I like to go back periodically, and now I just happen to be playing that right now and enjoying it. Matter of fact, I just unlocked Beast Gohan's ultimate attack, which is that the special beam cannon that he used in the movie, which is awesome. So I just unlocked that, and it was just cool. So now I'm trying to do some other things. But yeah, having a blast playing that. That's what I've been playing lately. My son's been playing it too. So yeah, we've been playing that with friends. Just got a PvP mode, so you can actually, go against other players. And that's pretty much what is really popular right now with this game. So people are doing a parallel quest to unlock and get the drops on the other moves and the new stuff, and then trying to create a custom character and give him or her certain abilities and to do certain things, and then go to PvP and have a blast. So I think that's dope. But yeah, I've been playing that, guys. Awesome game. Glad they're still supporting it. Can't wait for the main one, which is the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 game. Oh, that's going to be crazy. I'm telling you right now, I'll be covering that so fucking hard. Okay. I can't wait. Anyway, that's what I've been playing. Nothing else right now. I did download, I think, is it called Tower of something, but I just since deleted it. I played it for maybe a few hours and it was okay, but I just couldn't get into it like I thought I would be able to. So I just deleted it. So that's pretty much all I've been playing video game wise. And I've been playing my Switch from time to time, and I've been playing Daemon X Machina. So I had a decision or a light bulb that kind of went off in my head, and I decided, you know what? I'm not going to buy, as it hurts me to say this, I don't think I'm going to buy Armored Core right now. And I talked a little bit about this last week. I'm just reiterating it, guys, because I really want to play this game, especially after watching this 2-hour special that they had. They gave us some insight into the lore of the game, and I knew From Software was not going to leave us high and dry when it comes to the lore. And when you pull back the curtain, you know, they always have that type of thing, and they definitely have me very, very intrigued with this game. The timing is just not right. And for me to play this game, I would definitely want it to be a center of attention. I do not want to be playing it and trying to stretch myself between that and another game. This is the type of game that I would definitely like to commit my time to and my attention completely 110% to. So that is why I'm not doing it, because a week after that, maybe a little bit after a week, I want to say 7, maybe 8, 9 days later, I think we get Starfield. So I know for a fact that I'm going to be, you know, knee deep in Starfield for the foreseeable future. Probably going to hang 100 hours on that easily, and I'll be playing that for a long time, for a while. So I don't want to take away from that, and I don't want to take away from the other games by playing Starfield and doing that. So when I'm completely done with Starfield and then I say, okay, I'm finally putting this down, then it'll be time for me to say, all right, what's next on the menu? And that'll probably be somewhere in October sometime. And that's when Spider-Man comes out, which is probably the only other game I'm going to buy right now. So in other words, if Spider-Man comes out and I'm maybe just say Spider-Man comes out in a few days, then I'm just going to buy Spider-Man. Okay. I'm not going to play Armored Core because then I don't have a few days to play it. So when I have like more than a couple weeks between games that I really want to play, that's when I will finally pick up Armored Core. And then I say I will need a good solid 2 to 3 weeks on Armored Core to play that until I'm satisfied. Now, yeah, I can still go back in and play PvP and stuff like that. But as far as the main campaign and all of that, I think I'm going to need a solid 2 to 3 weeks for that. Personally, that's just me. So when I find that time frame and that opens up for me, which will probably be, I don't even know when, because there's lots of stuff coming out, guys. You have October. There's 3 games that I actually want. 2 of them besides Spider-Man. One is Lords of the Fallen, and then the other one is what is the other one? But there's another game out there that I definitely want to play in October. So there's a lot of stuff going on in October. Also, since we're talking about this subject or whatever in October, there's a couple games. You got Mario Wonder, Super Mario Brothers Wonder coming out as well. But you also have the physical release of Red Dead Redemption coming out in October. Now, I'm segueing into this, I guess, because there's been a lot of talk about this Red Dead shit, and rightfully so, because Sony and Nintendo have decided to put the game out on their consoles. And a lot of people are very salty because they feel that the PlayStation version should be stacked, should at least be 60 frames and so on and so forth. But all they really technically did was a straight up port. Okay. They just straight up said, we're going to give you exactly what, the Xbox 360 version had, and here you go. Now, the bittersweet thing about that is, me personally, I want it for the Switch. In the Switch, it stacks up really well. It doesn't lack in any department. The PlayStation 4 version is not any better than the Switch version, which is surprising. All of it is pretty much the same. So you're walking around portable and you're able to play this game, which is crazy. And that's what I was talking about last week with you guys on saying that the appeal for this game would definitely be for the Switch. So when I do get the game, it will definitely be for the Switch and it will be a physical. The only question still left in the air right now for me is it going to be on the cartridge 100%? Because this is going to be a 11.4 gigabyte game in size, and we don't know if Nintendo's going to say, "Oh, we're only gonna make this in 8 GB. We're only going to use the 8 GB cartridges, and then we're going to make you download the other 3 to 4 gigs." Or if they're going to say, "Fuck it, we'll go ahead and we'll do the 16 GB so we can put everything on this game, on this cartridge." So everybody's hoping that we get the physical and we get it all on the cartridge. I'm hoping that as well. That's going to determine if I'm going to buy it or not. I'll still probably buy it for the Switch. That's one game that I will probably end up buying if I have to. If my back is against the wall and I have to do digital, I will for this one. But I'm trying not to. I'm really trying not to. So hopefully they make that happen and we don't have to download anything. Plus, you also have the DLC, which is a whole game in itself as well. So they were able to cram all this on there, and that's kind of crazy because Red Dead Redemption is a pretty big game. So that's saying a lot, man. But yeah, I can't wait to get this on portable. But I will not pay 50. I will not be paying $50 though. Straight up, I will still wait and get it off of eBay, off of somebody, and do it that way. That's probably how I end up getting it. But yeah, or wait till a sale like a Black Friday or something like that when it drops. Oh, you have a sale 20% off, whatever it is. You can get it for $30 now. Cool, let's do that. Because I am about to buy. I'm going to Atlanta in 3 weeks to visit to Georgia to kind of like peep the scenery and do all that because we're making a transition there next year. But we're going down there, and before I go, I am going to be buying Nier Automata for the Nintendo Switch. I'm going to get the Switch version. I already have the PlayStation 4 version, and I'll be having another playthrough on that. I'm looking forward to it too because that's one of my favorite franchises. If you guys don't know, the Nier universe is like just one of the dopest universes in my opinion out there. It is. And I recently watched a video. It was like 6.5 hours long, man. This guy, I'm watching it right now. It's on in the background. Eruption Fang. I think that's how you say it. But yeah, anyway, this video is called The Complete Unbridged Timeline of Nier. So basically he's taking, well, let me back up a taste real quick. If you guys aren't familiar with the Nier series and their games, they have multiple endings. Okay, every one of his games has multiple endings. And he basically took the endings that were canon completely, or so quote unquote, the true endings of these, and he put them on a timeline and he basically explained it all. And he took everything, not just from the games, because if you're not familiar with Nier and Yoko Taro, he has his lore spread out. A majority of them are on the game, but he has a lot of it also spread out through novels and even plays. Okay, so if you want the full Monty and you want the full story on a lot of the characters that they didn't get a chance to emphasize on through the game, you can get that information usually pretty much through the other ways he was doing his stuff, his stories. Like I said, the novels, the mangas, and all that stuff. So there's so many stories. You got the Yorha boys. You got so many different ones. Long story short, short story long. You got all these things that kind of break down what actually went down when you weren't being shown something with other characters and stuff like that, which is really awesome, man. Because like I said, Nier, which is now called Nier Replicant, it takes place around 3,000 years earlier, and it's kind of the events that happened there kind of set in motion some of the stuff that went down in Nier Automata. And then even further back, Dragon Guard 1 and 3, there were events in those games that actually kind of had a lot to do with what happened in the world of Nier. So there's a lot of shit popping off in these universes, guys. But I'm just so intrigued by the stories, and I love the characters like, 2B, A2, 9S, and everybody else in between. Nier. And then you have so many other characters in that universe that go hard. Okay. If you haven't played any of these two games, I highly recommend you check them out. I think you can play, I don't know if Nier Replicant is on Xbox. I'm not sure. But I know if you have a PlayStation 4, you can play both. And I highly recommend putting those two games in your library. If you have not experienced those games, if you like games like, I don't know, Shadows of the Colossus or The Last Guardian, games that actually make you sit and think after the credits have begun to roll, and you are probably going to want to play these games if you have not played them. Okay, I'm being serious here. Nier Automata is just, I can't even begin to explain how awesome that game is, and the soundtrack. And Platinum Games was working on that game as well, so I'm a huge Platinum Games fanatic. So that it just, Square Enix, I love Square Enix. You guys know that too. If you're new, now you know. But all of those things, that was just perfect marriage. That game was a perfect marriage. And then Nier Replicant was also beautifully made at Square Enix as well, which I love dearly. And that soundtrack is probably the only other soundtrack that could rival Nier Automata, because I think truly that those are the two best soundtracks in video games ever. There's a lot of dope ones. Please don't get it twisted, but these two right here are my favorites. And I don't know which one I love better. Some days I wake up and it's Automata, it's Nier Automata. Some days it's fucking Replicant. I don't know, man. But yeah, all the characters are awesome, and I highly recommend you guys check out both of those games. How did I even get on that? I don't even know what segued me into that. I think it was talking about Red Dead. Okay. Yeah. We were talking about Red Dead on the Switch. That's crazy. But anyway, yeah, that game I will not be paying $50 for, in Red Dead Redemption. It's $50 they're wanting now, and definitely not doing it digitally. So get that out of here. So that's what we're at there. But the PlayStation version kind of just pulled out warm butter on everyone. Most people assumed, including myself, that, this is going to be a 60 frames. They're going to get a chance to do it right this time. They're going to make it, better. And they didn't. They just said, we're just porting this. Cool. Now, we give Nintendo more slack because of the hardware they have to work with. Okay. Dated hardware, of course. And its life cycle is towards the end and all that. And them being able to do what they were able to do with Red Dead Redemption is kind of mind boggling in itself. It's kind of like, it's looking like it's one of those games like Nier Automata, on the Switch, which you don't get to see every day. The quality that Virtuos did with that game, and that's pretty much why I'm buying it. If it was like lackluster, I would not be buying it on the Switch. But because it's a great port, that's why I'm doing it. And I'm being able to take Nier with me wherever I want to go. What? Are you crazy? I'm doing that. So I remember when it first got announced about 10, 11 months ago, I told you guys that I was eventually going to do it. And now I'm finally doing it. And the price point is perfect. $30, man. That's perfect. I just literally lost, I lost a bidding war on eBay for it today. I just, what people like to do on eBay is they wait till the last second and then they'll go ahead and say, I'll pay this for it. But we were like at $24 or something like that, plus $5 shipping. So in the end, it would have came up to about the same anyway. So I wasn't hurt. I was just like, fuck it. I was doing it for shits and giggles. And I said, well, if I don't win this, I'll just buy it from eBay, buy now, or I'll just get it from Amazon. Either way, it doesn't matter. Or go to a local GameStop that carries it or something like that, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So I'm not really worried about that, but still, had a little fun with that. But yeah, that's where we're at with the Red Dead shit, though. I'm excited for the Nintendo version, like I said. And if you're going to get any version of this, I'd recommend the Switch version and no other version, unless you already had it for the Xbox, and that's fine. They have a native 4K kind of like a update with theirs. And I think the PlayStation 5 has that as well. I want to say the 4 has it too. I'm not sure. But playing it on the 5 doesn't do anything special to it either. You're just playing it on the 5, and it's just allowing people who weren't able to do it on the PlayStation 3 to be able to play it that way. And that's why they, I think, did this. They just said, okay, we want to try to get a little bit more money and milk the system. And we have this port, so we're going to port it over there, and, we'll give them that. So now that PlayStation players don't have to worry about not being able to play this and only having to go through Xbox to play it. But, it is what it is. It's $30 right now digitally on the Xbox. So if you wanted to go buy it now, you could go to Xbox and get it. Or you could just wait for a sale there and wait for it to hit like $5-10 and do that, So there's a bunch of different ways you can do it, But there you have it. That is what the Red Dead Redemption thing is all about there. I want to talk about this this little 2-hour event that they had for Armored Core, which was dope. I think was really cool because they had a couple YouTubers that you guys may recognize or you may have heard from before. And they go by the names of Vidya and Fighting Cowboy. Now, if you don't know these guys, definitely check them out. Google them. If you play Dark Souls games or anything from Software made, you're going to recognize probably Vidya. Okay. He's got this angelic voice and he explains the lore. He does a lot of lore videos and I'm a sucker for video game lore. So sometimes I just like to sit down, pull up my computer, get a bite to eat and sit down and watch his lore videos, man, and listen to him break down all the stories and all the hidden innuendos of all these characters in these universes from Software. Right. And it's just an awesome thing. Also, Fighting Cowboy is an awesome content creator as well, because he's into all of the Dark Souls stuff, but he's also into other games too. He plays a lot of games that require, have RPG elements to them and require builds. Okay. He does a lot of build videos. So, Remnant 2, I think he's had some stuff in Remnant 2 as well. So putting together a bunch of different builds and kind of showcasing the different things you can do in these games. And that's what he does a lot of in his content. And they were both on here, and it was cool just to see how far that just YouTubers come in general, the fan base and how popular a lot of these guys have become. They started out as just regular guys who just play video games as well. And technically that's still what they do. The following that they've kind of garnered over the years has just been kind of jaw dropping, man, which is dope. I'm very happy for those guys. And I love that they are able to do that type of stuff because I watch both of them. I'm subscribed to both of them and they're dope YouTubers. So that's another story. But anyway, they showed us some videos, some footage, some new gameplay. We got to see some PvP action out here, and the PvP matches are fairly quick. They don't last too long, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's 1-on-1, and they also have 3 versus 3, if I'm not mistaken. And they also showed us some behind the curtains type of stuff. I'm not even going to say anything. I want you guys to check it out. I just think it's awesome because it's not just, okay, we're going to be in these mechs and we're going to do this. I mean, these are characters out here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that they've just done a great job of kind of feeding it to us the way that they have, if that makes any sense. And you'd have to watch that showcase to understand what I'm talking about. I'm sure there's a video where you wouldn't have to watch 2 hours. They probably already chopped it up and you can just watch that moment or that part I'm talking about now. But that's really kind of made me mad because I was like, yo, now I really, really want to play this. And I got to stay true to myself. I do not want to buy that now and then start playing that and then Starfield come out. And then I'm just like, then I put that down and you know what I mean? I want to play it all the way through. I don't want to put it down midway or anything like that. So, and those 2 games, I don't want to go between them. Like there's some games I can do that with, and there's some games that I just can't. Like I could do that with like a Street Fighter or something like that, but I cannot do that with games that are campaign story driven kind of experiences. I can't do it like that. So I'm not going to. I'll be playing Starfield and probably Starfield only for the foreseeable future. The only other game I'll probably end up playing is my Switch, and that's because it's mobile and I wouldn't be home, and I'd be trying to play something else because I'm not home. So that's it. You know what I mean? I'm taking my Switch with me on my trip. Of course, I'll be playing Switch then. But yeah, that's where we're at right there. So I'll leave it there. Definitely check out that video, guys, if you haven't. If you're interested in Armored Core, if you are interested in Armored Core, you probably already watched it. But if you're in a mechs at all, if you love like Gundam or anything like that, you probably want to give this a gander. You probably want to look into this. I don't know. That's just me. But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about, I guess, the elephant in the room. But before I do that, I just want to talk about what me and my son, man, I have to mention this because I just think this is kind of cool. He's really a big fan, and I mean, he's becoming a super fan actually, of Jujutsu Kaisen, of all anime. Okay, he's been watching anime lately and getting into it, and Jujutsu Kaisen is his baby right now. And hey, I'm not mad at him, deservedly so. Yes, he's 10 years old, and yes, it can be dark at times, a little dark, but we love horror movies, and I think that's another thing that kind of drives that down for him, is because he's a horror buff like me. He likes his horror movies and stuff, and dealing with curses and stuff like that. I just think that's a dope concept, and he's all caught up. He's even went and saw more episodes than me because I'm holding out on season 2 so that I can watch it all. I'm trying to hold out so I can binge it, and he couldn't do it. He watched season 1 and then he went into season 2, and he kept trying to. I had to stop him because he kept trying to, not intentionally, but explain stuff to me that was going on now, and I was like, look, please stop talking about it. I don't do it. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. So I had to make him stop. But he's watched. He's all caught up, but what he didn't do was he didn't watch the movie Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and we watched that this morning. Well, not this morning, this afternoon we watched it, and he enjoyed himself with that one too. I'm surprised he didn't cheat and go ahead and watch it, but he didn't. He waited, and we watched it together, and I just think that movie was just awesome. I really do. That backstory on a lot of characters you get to see. I just think that movie was awesome. So I think they got another movie slated very soon coming out. Looking forward to all that. Looking forward to Jujutsu Kaisen, period. I can't wait. Really, season 3 is going to be crazy too, because right now we're going back into Gojo's kind of life and his story, which is cool because he's my favorite character in the game, in the anime. But still, after that, it's probably going to get real spicy in season 3. I'm quite sure of it. And I was looking a little bit into the manga. Not enough to kind of give it away for myself, but just enough. And I saw that there was going to be some spicy shit going down. So he's very excited for that shit. That's all I will say. I'll leave it at that. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys, man. My son is becoming a little bit of an anime buff, Yeah. Really, really, really cool that I'm kind of influencing them. Same thing with my daughter. Eventually I will. She was in here watching it with us for a second too. There were certain scenes when it got real shonen-esque, and she was in here just in shock and in awe, at the screen, running around her little diaper and, pausing to take a gander at what we were watching. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, I definitely see her coming up, sitting on my lap, or just, Daddy, what are you doing? What are you watching? She's already been doing it, on certain other ones. So I see her also being, at least it being an influence on her life. You know what I mean? And that's something that I think is cool, because it's one of my favorite pastimes. So it is what it is. Okay. Now we got all that out the way. My anime watch list, I'll just go over that real quick because I told you guys I wasn't really watching anything, but I did watch that with him, and I did end up starting Zom Bucket List of the Dead. I remember I telling you guys I was going to do it, and I finally did. I only watched one episode, but I started it, and I'm loving where it's going right now. It's basically about this guy, this young guy who, got into this company that he was trying to get into for so long. He finally got the job. He thought it was the job of his dreams, but what this company was just another one of those exploitive companies where they just exploit the fuck out of you, and literally you hardly have any time off. I mean, his first day there, he worked 2 days straight before he could even go home. All right. People are pillows and blankets at the office, all these things. And he did it for about 3 years. And it drove him insane. Okay. He wanted to kill himself because he just didn't want to go to work anymore. Okay. And he couldn't quit. He didn't have the heart to quit for whatever reason. And what ended up happening was an apocalypse, a zombie apocalypse. And he realized that he didn't have to work anymore. And for whatever reason, that he didn't care about it being an apocalypse and he having to fight for his survival. Okay. He was so gung-ho on not having to go back to work that's all that mattered to him. Okay. And that's how it starts. Now there's more to it than that. And I think I see where they're going with this because he's very athletic and he was a rugby player in college, and it showed. There was a scene in the first episode where he actually used some of that to do somebody, to basically take out a zombie. Okay. I'm not going to give it away because there was, how he did it and why he was doing it. You'd have to watch it, but it was definitely a sight to see, and I can see where this might be going. in the future. I think I do, but anime is crazy. You think you know something, and then they completely flip it on its ear. But everywhere I turn around, everybody's telling me about this. When you go to Crunchyroll, hey, they keep recommending it. Hey, this is really popular. You want to watch this? So I finally did, and I'm glad that I did. So I'm having, like I said, first episode down. I'll definitely finish the rest of it this week, and I'll definitely bring it back and discuss with you guys about it. But yeah, this anime is called Zom Bucket List of the Dead for the last time. Okay. Now, here's what I really want to talk about. And it's bittersweet, but I'm kind of bitter about it. Okay. And I had a feeling they might do this. And I can't really tell you guys that I'm surprised that they even went this route. But here's my thing. And I'm talking about the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot DLC. This is a DLC I wanted to play for so long. This is one of the most anticipated DLCs I've ever wanted to play with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Because if you guys don't know, if you're new to the show, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I literally have Tien Shinhan, Frieza, and Vegeta tattooed on my fucking body. Okay, I am a diehard fan and have been one since about 1996. Okay, long fucking time. Now I've played so many different games. I own so many different Dragon Ball games. I own a shit ton of Dragon Ball paraphernalia and collectibles, t-shirts, hats, you name it. I have it, a little bit of everything. And I'm an avid Dragon Ball fan. That's the anime that is responsible for me getting into anime, period. That is the first anime I ever saw. That is the anime that made me want to know more about anime and just the world, Japanese culture. All of that was because of Dragon Ball. So I thank Dragon Ball Toriyama for all of that shit, okay? Because of him. Now, I bring all this up because I want to give you context, because I want everybody to know how passionate I am about this series, okay? And how bad I really wanted to play this, because this was the OG Dragon Ball. A lot of Dragon Ball fans nowadays, especially the younger people, they don't realize how dope the OG Dragon Ball was, and probably never even seen it. Okay. It's just awesome. That's when everything was so much more grounded. Everybody was more on an even playing field, so to speak. That was before, people really learned how to fly, or they were just learning how to fly, and a lot of stuff like that, guys. People don't know, and Tien is one of my favorite characters. Tien Shinhan, Tien, however you want to pronounce his name. I'm a huge advocate for him. He's like my top 3, and depending on what day you wake me up at, he could be number 2 easily. Like I say, if you watched Dragon Ball, you would understand why. You would at least understand why he's one of my favorites, at least, because he was back then one of the main villains of the show. He was the main villain of the show. He had his own arc. It was called the Tien Shinhan arc. Okay. And Goku had to fight him in the 22nd martial arts tournament. Tien won the tournament. So Tien actually won a martial arts tournament. The 23rd martial arts tournament is the next one. And this is the one that this DLC focuses on. And this is what kind of drove me mad about it. I was just still excited to see, Teen Goku do his thing, Piccolo Jr., all these other characters. And it came up short in a sense that the ground combat is excellent. Keep in mind, I have not played it yet. Okay. I did not. It's if you're thinking about buying it or whatever, it's like $13.99. I am going to buy it. I am going to play it because I am a Dragon Ball nut. And, but still, it's not very long at all. You could probably do everything in about 3.5 hours, maybe 3.5 to 5 hours. You can do everything. But what kind of disturbs me about this DLC, one of the main things being a Tien fan, guys, that's why I have to give you guys context on this character, is the fact that he's playable. And that's what got me excited for it in the first place. But he's only playable for about 2 fights in the story. Now, if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, you know that once you play the story, there's more to be played. So you can take your characters and you can do side quests. You can even go to this place in the, I think it's located, I want to say it's located at Capsule Corporation, and you can go and refight your boss fights. You can have your boss fights over. You can fight them on hard, and you can challenge yourself. And you can even unlock things by playing those modes, right? The cool thing about that was you could take other characters besides Kakarot, aka Goku, in there, and you could use those characters. Now, there were a few playable characters. There's Vegeta, there's Piccolo, there's Gohan, and characters like that were playable in the main game. Okay. Now, I thought with this DLC they said, oh yeah, Ten Shinhan is going to be playable. Cool. But I thought he was going to be able to be playable outside of that as well. So you'd be able to take him on side missions, or they would have something where you could take him to Capsule Corporation and you could fight his boss, the guy that you've had to fight as him, which is Mercenary Tao, aka Tao Pai Pai. I thought that was going to be a thing, and it wasn't. Okay, you can only play with him out of 2 matches, and that was it. Now you get to play as Kid Goku, which is dope, and that boss fight and all that. I didn't watch all the boss fights or anything because I didn't want to spoil myself. I just got a glimpse and I said, okay, I'm out. He's not there. So basically what I'm saying is these guys went through all the stuff that they needed to go through creating Tien as a playable character, which is, I think he's the only other playable character in the game. They gave him his own moveset, everything unique to him, right? And they did not allow you to play with him on any other modes. That shit, I'm upset about that. I'm not going to lie to you. That kind of hurt. Because I would want to play him and do things with him as well. You know what I'm saying? Like the other characters. And also, they didn't give him all his abilities. They didn't give him the same abilities that he used as you had to fight him. So his multiform technique, you can't use that yourself. You weren't able to use that yourself during his fight, controlling him. But he uses that against Goku when you're fighting him in a boss fight. So there's little things like that kind of just made me look at them like they were smoking sherm, like their sake glasses was filled to the brim, like butter was just sitting on the table. Okay, it said Dragon Ball Z Kakarot DLC number 5 on it. That's pretty much how I felt. I'm still going to buy it because I am a huge Dragon Ball fan. And like I said, Tien is a big part of this still. He's still playable at some sort of capacity, which is very small, but still I'll take what I can get. But I like I said, guys, I'm not rushing to buy it now. It's not going to be where, I'm going to get it soon. I don't know when I'm going to buy it. I know I am, but I don't know when. I don't know, man. I hope they learned their lesson for this with the last DLC. I don't know. It seems like they just hit and miss. They give you something sweet and then they fucking got to throw the vinegar on top. You know what I mean? You can't just have it all, be sweet. I don't understand that. So that's another reason why I'm really looking forward to Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4, because that, I remember playing as Tien in that and some of the other characters too, and you could really do some dope things with that. And I hope I think they'll do the same thing with that. And then also, Dragon Ball Fighters. I mean, he's one of the best characters in that game. So I will say that, okay, Arc System Works did him justice. And I think only because some of the people who were working on that were actually Ten Shinhan fans. And I think that's why he was so good in that game. He's so good in that game. So, it's not all L's. We're not taking all L's here, but in most of the other games, you're going to take some L's in that. Now, Raging Blast 2, he was also awesome. I loved him in Raging Blast 2. After that, even Xenoverse, like Xenoverse 2, he's not very good. Now, if they allow us to actually, give him some other moves and do some kind of thing, Kaioken and all these type of things, then maybe we can come back and talk about it. But right now, that's not what's happening. And I'm ranting and raving, guys, because like I said, I told you, whenever we get into a conversation when it has to do with Tien in Dragon Ball, I get a little emo, I get a little emotional, because I just really like him as a character, and I just think he deserves so much more from everything he's done, including, saving Gohan from fucking Majin Buu, from, saving Piccolo and those guys from Cell and doing his thing, man. You know what I mean? I really think they nerfed him hard. And Toriyama just he backed himself into a corner. He made him a little too OP in Dragon Ball, and then he had to kind of do something about that. So, and these are the results. You know what I mean? And he hadn't stopped since. Once they fucking buried him, they just continued to do it. So we'll see what happens in the future. I don't know. And that's another reason I love a lot of these other Dragon Ball stories, because you got these what ifs, and I could write 3 or 4 awesome stories around him. period, if given the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Just him going back to the hyperbolic time chamber, being able to train. He never went. He's one of the fighters that never went, which, given an opportunity, you would think his character would definitely jump on that. And that's why I say some of the writing with him was a little flimsy, especially in the Cell Saga, but I'm not going to, like I said, I need to stop talking about it and just move on. But that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to give my rundown on the DLC, and I, really want to play it, and I still will play it. I'll probably end up playing it this week. Who knows? Because I might not be able to resist, but it's going to be very quick, and that, it's going to be over. Now, could I go back and replay it? Sure. I may go back and replay it once or twice or whatever, and do some content with it or whatever. I don't know. But I was really looking forward to playing this, and learning that news kind of hurt me a little bit. It kind of takes away from the experience. Okay. That's going to do it for the show, guys. I think that's going to be it for me. I'm going to bow out gracefully, but I want to thank everybody for listening, downloading, streaming. All the newcomers, thank you guys for joining us. I hope to see you again next week. We do this every Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. And also, if you want to show love, you're already kind of doing that, but listening to the show. But if you want to do a little bit more, definitely check out my handles. And support me there. Check me out on TikTok. Check out Dragon Ball Drip on TikTok. Check out Random Gameplay Pimpin' on TikTok. Go to YouTube. Check out Random Gameplay Pimpin' there. Subscribe if you haven't. Content on the way. I've been working really hard to catch back up and get this stuff out to you guys. Also check out the Dragon Ball Drip 247 YouTube channel there. Got new content finally coming back there as well. So yeah, man, show your love there. And also, last but not least, definitely check out DragonBallDrip.com and get a hoodie, get a t-shirt, get something there. And anything purchased there would definitely go towards helping out the show. All right, guys. And that's going to do it for me. I'm going to get out of here. I have to edit this, and then I have some other things to work on. But I love you all, and I will see you next week. This is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. See you next time.